I'm going to introduce you, Marga. You already know her from the committee. Hi, Marga.
Hi. Hello.
Good. So Marga is going to talk about enterprise agility, levels of transformation, and the 10 main aspects to be addressed successfully. So let's go for it. Good luck, Marga.
Thank you. I'm sorry, it's quite a long title for this presentation. First of all, I would like to say hello again. My name is Marga Bel Klever. I'm an Agile Coach at Adevinta Spain. And I've been working here a bit more than a year only. But previously, I worked as a consultant, a classical consultant. Yes, I was in the dark side. After that, I was project manager and product owner in energy sector, where I discovered Agile. After that, I've been Agile Coach and Enterprise Agile Coach in Everest for several customers in Europe, in UK, and here in Spain. And finally, I was the lead of the transformation in CaixaBank, a bank here in Spain. So that's me, and today I want to share with you a short overview, very short overview of the different levels, non-hierarchical levels, to deal with an agile transformation, the main aspects that you have to work, and also if you still survive, I know it's quite late now, some of the most frequent mistakes that we commit when we are transforming or applying agile in a company. So I hope you're ready. Well, let's try to have a fun talk. I hope so. Well, let's start with a little story, or rather biology. Like anything was born in an ecosystem, and Agile was born also, evolves, and it's the case of Agile. Agile also evolved to adapt to the different environments where it is applied. For the most simple beings, like this nudibranch, to arrive to the kitten that we are seeing, no? The mammals, the most complex animals in the world. So, the first generation of Agile, between 1994 and 2022, or more or less, the community began to see the need to work in a different way. It focused on multidisciplinary and self-sufficient teams, like cells, which had to be small, like the 2-pizza team, to have more free communication, more iterative and incremental value delivered, and in smaller deliveries. It works for small companies and for very simple products, like small animals, as I said. But what happens when you need to develop more complex products? In that case, we need more coordination. So it's like in an organism, we need coordination between cells. In that case, focusing only on teams is not enough. And we need more and more adapt and adjust the way of they are communicating. So for that reason, we evolved to the second generation of Agile. Between 2002 and 2010, realized that requirements and testing must be Agile also to create a product development flow. The focus on defining the product as such, guaranteeing its quality, user stories, story mapping, techniques to test have to be applied. This allows us to start looking a little further in environments with some complex products. With more definition, we need higher quality. We need to see with a bit more strategy. We need to link other aspects. We need to work not only for small pieces, but we have to see a bit more. But it's not enough again. Why? Because in that way, it's not enough to scale for very complex environments. It's not enough to manage dependencies or deal with the difficulties in a large company with more complex operational needs and so. I say it again, but it's more a question of complexity than the size. Of course, an animal, if it's big, it's more complex. But for example, if we think in a kitten, it's much more complex than a shark. For the 2010 until now, we are in the third generation of Agile, built on successful product development flow, and deal with the issues of scaling, deal with portfolios, the full integration of agility into the enterprise. In addition to working with the product at the global level, we have to be focused on the management of demand and the portfolio level. We have to focus also in DevOps. We have to implement metrics and the governance of the processes. We have to work also with multi-team and sometimes in some companies in a bimodal models, which is we have to work a hybrid between employees and suppliers, and we have to change the relationship or contracts also. The implementation of Agile, in that case, it's for all the company. So we need to help all the teams and all the people with different things. So we have to involve all the company. We have to involve finance. We have to involve human resources, well, people in that case. We have to involve everyone to push in this way. At the end, Agile have to be everywhere. So this is a short overview. For sure, you will have the PPT, and I think it's much more easy to see the three levels, and you can see from the multicellular organisms until arrive to the most complex ones. But I would like to ask you something. What animal do you think you are in your company? Are you still alive? Nobody? No?
The delay doesn't let people answer.
I'm seeing nobody saying. No animals. Well, let's continue. So, after decide which animal we are, depending on the type of company we have to apply Agile in a way or in another way. It will be necessary to focus on or in an aspect or in another. And we identify 4 levels, but not hierarchical levels. Again, is different perspectives to manage or to deal with the transformation. Again, I repeat, it's a question of complexity and not a question of how big the company is. Based on the model of Alan Gardner is one of the most important pioneers on the very big transformations around the world, not only in the United States, but also here in Europe, in UST. He's a partner in UST Global. He created a model and he identified these 4 levels. So according for this level, we start to talk about the first level, the teams level, the sales level. It's very common to use the word sales to talk about teams. And teams delivering product and providing services to other teams that apply methodologies such as Scrum, Kanban, and they work in small multidisciplinary teams focused on creating simple, flexible, and valuable solutions. So we have different kind of teams, such as, for example, here we have big teams or the service teams. If we think in the second level of Agile, we work on improvement of a complete product. We have to align and coordinate the plan. It's like an organism. It's like the function of an organ in a body, like a kidney. So we have to be aligned ourselves that the kidney works. So it is important to have a planning again and evaluate the progress of it. So if we are working with several teams, we have to plan with them what we would like to do to evolve this product. So this connection have to exist. I said it again, it's not a hierarchical level, it's a different perspectives to see the transformation. Because at the end, a kidney, it's not the boss of the cells. Another example here, for example, in Adevinta Spain, a product perspective could be the app for professionals or the general app in Abritaglia, for example. Then move to the third level. The third level is for big companies, much more bigger than the others, and it's requires a governance, requires to work with different portfolios, requires a big coordination, requires to coordinate releases, different products, evaluate and standardize the quality. The quality when we have a complex product is key. In our case, for example, could be a marketplace full. Yeah. So let's move to the final one. As you can see, it's not a flat one. It's a level that involves all the structures that we previously mentioned. So in that level, besides the strategy, we work with the organization in general. Everything has to be support to the change. We have to work with human resources part. We have to work very strong with the mindset of the management to help us to create or to manage this transformation. The coordination have to go between the strategy to the teams and between the teams to the strategy. It's something that can flow, and the information can have to flow. Because if not, we will see afterwards we can have a bit problems. And the example of a big company that could be needs these kind of levels could be Adevinta. So at the end, if we work in a large company, we need to coordinate all the initiatives, all the transformational initiatives that we have in all levels. It's not possible a transformation working okay, just pushing in one of these 4 levels. So now we are going to change the perspective to analyze the main aspects to have to touch in a global transformation. There are 10 aspects that we have to manage. The first one is operations and support, the business as usual. We have to work that the business as usual have to be the most efficient as possible. We need to work with human resources, but not only the career path, but also career plans, structures. Sometimes we have to change the structures, what we are doing, benefit plans, and so on and so. And must be adapted and must be driven. Usually transformation are driven by human resources part. Quality management to give a good product, as I said. It's important to work to have good results, not only fast results, but also good results. We have to analyze and report. We have to link the KPIs, the OKRs, and we have to connect them with the strategy. We have also to manage the risks and the governance. When we have a big transformation, when we have a big company, we have to manage the different type of risks that we can have. For example, economical ones, legal ones, technological ones, a very small pandemic like COVID. There are things that we have the tools to manage when they happen. Enterprise strategy, product and program execution must be aligned with what organizations want to achieve. And we need to be flexible and adaptive, of course, but we have to think and align the strategy with the product and programs that we are working. Fundings, also investment, planning, forecasting, change management, it's key. Again, as said, management have to drive the transformation, so management creates the culture, so it's one of the biggest things that we have to push. And finally, vendors and contracts, if we have different vendors. This is a short overview. I would like to ask where are you focusing in your company, but I think the delay, it's quite hard to have these questions. And I prefer to move to the common mistakes, to finish this presentation. Let's see some common mistakes that we can see in an implementation of Agile in companies. What do you see here? What do you think is going on? Well, it's one of the most frequent mistakes is to believe that in a company with a complex structure, with very complex products, only the way of working of teams should be modified. So they think that it's very easy. For sure, you see it in some companies. I'm sorry, but there's life beyond Scrum, and there are a lot of things to do when a company is quite big, if we would like to be a real Agile company. In this case, communication between areas sometimes is quite difficult, quite tough. It's difficult to automatization, and the results are not good at the end. And in that case, what do you think? This is another common mistake, very common mistake, and it's related. It's similar to the previous one. It's the second part of the previous one. It's when a transformation, there are a lot of initiatives and they carry out at global level, but in most cases, initiatives are allowed to improve the team, but only for teams. And the initiatives goes down like a firebar, but there are too many, and in that case, these initiatives doesn't fit. So the third one is also common too. When we have very, very big companies and they want to be agile because they have in the objectives of the company, and they know they are complex, but they realize that if they are they are complex, we have to do a lot of things at the same time in a lot of levels, and for sure they will go very fast and they will agile in less than a year. You can imagine the result of this big bang. Besides being traumatic, it's like a shock, and makes them to decide to quit the change sometimes. Finally, the last example is that, what do you think is happening here? Well, in that case, it's also common that companies think that they are more complicated than they really are. it's like when Tim said, no, but this is different for me, but this is not working for me. In that cases, they don't want to change at the end. They want to do the same, saying that they are agile. So the result is very insignificant. So let's try a question. Are we committing any of these mistakes? Let's see if, are you still alive? Catfish, a cat. Oh, there are the animals. So congrats if you say your company is a cat, because we are. So we have just a few minutes, and I'm so sorry because it's quite small, just a few time for this, a lot of information. Questions, and what can we do? And where do we start? Well, I'm so sorry, but this question, it's too long to answer in only 25 minutes. But you can contact by chat or by email. Do you have any questions for these few minutes that we have? No?
Remember, you have some delay to see the question. If someone have a question, please, this is the time for the Q&A time.
See, I think we are dying at that time.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think.
Anyway, don't worry. So if you have any questions, if you have doubts, please, you can contact with me by Adevinta channels or privately. You have my Twitter, my LinkedIn, and well, that's all. Oh, please remember, scan the QR code and give us feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Marga, for your talk. And everyone, and please give us your feedback. It's important to us, your feedback. I have some questions there from Mark. What happened with a function like eBay? We can apply the model.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. We have a merge. We have two cells together. It's another talk. But imagine when you have ovule and a spermatozoid, we have to create ones. We can talk afterwards or in another one. But if you are interested in the next Agile conference, we can talk about this.
I think it's no more question.
No, I think so. Thank you very much.